Only two people in the history of the world walked on water, literally. Jesus, St. Peter. Now, St. Peter, ironically, is known more for sinking into the water. But we'll have to give him some credit because he believed that Jesus would allow him to walk on water. He took a few steps before he started sinking. He only started sinking because his faith started faltering. A number of years ago, a man walked on water, not literally, but in a certain sense. He had an opportunity to purchase a radio station that's, I believe it still exists, at Conneaut. And he named it WWW, Walking on Water Radio. And I remember the station because he had asked me to help out with some programming on teaching about church history. But he called it Walking on Water Radio because it was something he had never tried before in his life. He had no real background in telecommunications. He was a man of means, but radio was not his field. Second, programming for Walking on Water Radio at the time was to be programming from the Eternal Word Television Network. Many of you have heard of this network. I encourage people to watch it. It's Catholic programming, Eternal Word Television Network, EWTN. There's also another radio affiliate, 89.5 FM. But Eternal Word Television Network is also a result of a woman walking on water. What happened was she took a tour of Chicago. And in Chicago, of course, you have many high-rises, and she was brought into a particular high-rise. And she was a nun, so she had no background in any telecommunications whatsoever. Cloistered nun. So they took her up the elevator, and she went into this office in this high-rise, which was a radio station. It was not a Catholic one, but it was a Christian radio station, and she was very impressed by that. She thought to herself, we need to have something like that. So she went back to her convent, located in Alabama, and took it to prayer, and then started collecting electronic equipment until she had a garage full of this equipment. She was able to get the donation that she needed to put up a satellite dish for transmitting a signal. Just the right amount of money came in at the right time. And she started, this was in 1982, what has become the largest religious telecommunications network of them all, Eternal Word Television Network. Again, walking on water, so to speak. She was moved to look into it, she was inspired, and she acted on it. So she didn't sink like Peter did, she continued. And needless to say, the Eternal Word Television Network has helped really the faith of countless people. It's a great service, really, to encourage people in their faith and to edify people. We need to hear the Word of God. We need to know about our faith. There's so much to learn that we have to keep learning. Sometimes you can run into people who don't know too much about the Catholic faith, although they've been Catholics for all their lives. They've really had no training since maybe the 6th grade, which is kind of sad because if you apply that to any other field, that would not be a compliment, really. I haven't done any real serious study since grammar school, let's say, somebody said that. So Eternal Word Television Network is a great thing. Now, one of the things that inspires people to walk on water, so to speak, is some kind of an inspiration. Where do we get inspirations? Our first reading tells us about the prophet Elijah. And he received his inspiration when he went into a cave. He heard a tiny whispering sound. Now, this is a way of telling us that God speaks often when it's quiet. So everybody has to spend quiet time every day in prayer. It's very important. The Lord works inside a person who's praying. And this is where people get inspirations. I remember a man from my old parish, Samuel Leonard, and the man, he might be deceased by now, but he was a widower, had a number of children and so forth. And he was moved, again, an inspiration, to look into becoming a Catholic priest. He's already in his 70s. And he wanted to go into a religious community. Now, the thing about joining a religious community is many of them have cutoffs as to what age, maximum ages. And many of them will not take people who are beyond 45 or whatever it is. He found in Washington, D.C., a religious community that would actually take him, sponsor him, and of which he became a member. So Samuel Leonard became Father Samuel. Again, I'm walking on water. Think about it. Another man I remember, Joseph was his name. For years, he was a Catholic, but kind of a cultural Catholic. He would go to church, but it really wasn't anything that shaped his life. And there are many people like that. They kind of dabble in religion. When he became active in the parish, there was a men's group there, and the men's group would do certain studies and talk about the faith, but they would learn things. See. Well, he recognized at some point that earlier in his life, he was a married man, 1 or 2 children, but he had surgically sterilized himself in order to limit his family size. But he realized that after learning more about the faith and morality, that he really had to do something, open himself up to what God wanted him to do as a married man. So he had the operation reversed, and his wife conceived another child. Now, there may have been more children since then, but the thing is, the man who had limited himself for years was opened up to walking on water. Yes, open up to another child and more into the family. So sometimes people really limit themselves because they get into a mindset that I want to have a comfortable life, do what I want to do, and so forth and so on. Maybe the Lord has other plans for us to expand, to do more. Now, I'm not suggesting that everybody can do great things. It's not the point. St. Teresa, the little flower, the thing that she understood was that the Lord wanted her to do little things with great love. So, it's not a matter of saying, I have to do something great. This is what Father said. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if the Lord moves a person in a certain direction, we should be aware of it, pray about it, and embrace it. Trust it. Don't falter like St. Peter did.